Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern, and this is a brew challenge from Patreon subscriber Rage. Rage wanted to see a deck with 4 copies of Shadow of Doubt and 4 copies of Trickbind. The rest was up to me. Trickbind is just Stifle with split second, counter target activated or triggered ability, and then this has the extra text: if a permanent's ability is countered this way, activated abilities of that permanent can't be activated again this turn. That's relevant against something like Yawgmoth, where sometimes they do want to activate the same ability multiple times in a turn. And then Shadow of Doubt is players can't search libraries this turn, draw a card. What Trickbind and Shadow of Doubt have in common is they both beat up fetch lands really well. They're both 2-mana land destruction if your opponent is trying to develop using an effect that searches their deck for the land they want to play. And where I started with this was a hyper-aggressive tempo shell with Delver Secrets, Ragavan, Stalactite Stalker. My first smooth brain attempt at this was just, I'm going to stick a creature and then mess up all their lands and they can't play the game. But then I thought we could get more interesting, and I thought about all the legacy Stifle decks that I've played, and I really like when my Stifle can move my own game plan forward, and it doesn't have to just be a reactive spell for my opponent. And there's no Phyrexian Dreadnought in Modern, there's no Uro. I couldn't make the mana work for Kroxa, and I'm not even sure accelerating Kroxa is that powerful. But what I did find was Demonic Pact. 2 black, enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Deal 4 to any target, gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards, you draw 2 cards, and you lose the game. This is an extremely powerful engine for 3 turns, and then it kills you. But you can Stifle the lose the game trigger, and then you don't lose the game. That's usually better than losing the game. But then also, Harmless Offering is a card that exists. 2 and a red, sorcery. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. Use the first 3 modes of this, then give them this thing and it kills them. Now we have a combo, as well as a insulation against the control side of the card. We can also just backdoor into making our opponent dead. This all dovetailed together nicely to use a fun card, use Trickbind both defensively and offensively. We get a combo kill, we get to play a Grixis control deck that I like. Everyone's a winner here. And Tishana's Tidebinder, this card did not exist when Rage first gave me this challenge. It takes me like 5 or 6 weeks to get a video turned around. That's my backlog. And Tishana's Tidebinder is just another Stifle that exists in the format. I don't think it's a hot take to say it's the best Stifle in the format. Probably the best Stifle the format's ever had. And it fits right in this deck. It can beat up fetch lands, it can counter your Pact, it has power and toughness to win a game where you're just grinding. I like everything that's going on here. Just tucked it all into a nice little Grixis mid-range, Grixis control kind of shell. And that's what we're doing here. This is Rage's Stifle Pact Brew Challenge. Let's do it. If you've ever wondered why you're spending so much money on wireless service instead of Eternal staples, let me tell you about Mint Mobile, who I've partnered with for this video. You may recognize Mint Mobile from their ads with Ryan Reynolds, who's an owner of the company. What are you holding on to your expensive wireless service for? Speed, coverage, data, access to 5G, unlimited talk and text, mobile hotspots? Mint Mobile has all of those features for as low as $15 a month. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell directly online without the overhead of retail stores or salespeople. Why pay more for access to the same network? Go to trymintmobile.com/BoshNRoll. That's linked in the video description to get premium wireless for $15 a month. Big Wireless wants you to think it's hard to switch your service. Thanks to digital SIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate in under 15 minutes right on your phone from the comfort of your home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. Stop paying more than you have to for wireless. I know you have new decks to build. Go to trymintmobile.com/BoshNRoll to make the switch today. I'm on the draw in round 1. My hand has Thoughtseize Counterspell. Oh, that's not Thoughtseize, that's Demonic Pact. My brain just wanted it to be Thoughtseize. I'm still keeping. I can interact on 1 or cantrip on 1 and then Counterspell, and then we're just playing the Grixis game. Okay, we're playing against Mill. Tough beats. I do have Fatal Push for this Ruin Crab that they just shoved into play, though. I like that. I don't like that I have to fetch. But here we go. Watery Grave, Fatal Push. I'm just going to send it here. How many Archive Traps do you have? There's one. And they milled a Harmless Offering and a Demonic Pact. They could see the whole line here. See the whole plan played out in front of them. And it is better to do this now because they have a draw step next turn that could have been an Archive Trap. There's no reason to wait for their upkeep to do it. Hedron Crab. Field of Ruin. Okay, I have one basic land still in my deck right now. Deshana's Tidebinder does turn off crabs permanently. Stifle a trigger, and then they don't have abilities anymore. Looted Delta, and I'm just going to fetch right now before they can mill the fetchable I would like to get, which I believe here... The Steam Vents turns on Harmless Offering, but that's the only red card in the deck. Now that Molten Collapse is gone. Don't really want my Watery Graves to get exiled forever, but here we go. I'm just thinking about Surgical Extraction, which is a card that Mill usually plays some number of in the main. They drew another trap, come on. Okay, well, annoying. And me just letting that resolve with Counterspell in my hand. What the fuck is wrong with me right now? They're Surgicaling Snapcaster Mage. Okay, there's only one of those in the deck. Go ahead, have it. They are down to one card in hand. I have 20 cards in my deck, and 2 of them are Harmless Offering. I can still combo, especially if they stop doing anything here. Like, Field of Ruin mills me for 6 if they have a land. Play the land, activate the field. That's 2 triggers. They don't have that, though. If they're just running on fumes over there, now I'm kind of in business. Let's hope there are still... Oh no, there's no double black left in my deck. This is a travesty. I hate this. I'm going to have to win with beatdowns. Okay. Steam Vents get in there. Wow, that sucks. And it's even a fetch land, so they can spam multiple activations here. Now I have to decide if I want to stifle the crab or the fetch. If I stifle the crab, they can mill me for 6 in response. I have 12 cards left in my deck, but they don't have a crab anymore. Alright, I'm going to let the crab hit me and hope they just fetch. Okay, Shadow of Doubt versus Tidebinder here. I think I should Tidebind. Shadow of Doubt, I don't actually want to cantrip. And Tidebinder starts the beatdown, which is how I have to win this game now. Yikes. Okay. I guess I'll preordain. I don't really want to remove cards from my deck. I do like Orcish Bowmasters that add some damage to the setup. If they just don't draw a land for several turns here, we could actually do this. Yeah, even my Sunken Ruins is gone, so there's even my non-fetchable black source I'm not drawing towards here. They don't draw a land. Just a handful of spells you can't cast. That's all I need. Not only a land, but a fetch land. I mean, a fetch land is weirdly better than a non-fetch land for me, because I can shadow it. This whole game is happening, though, because I forgot I could counterspell Archive Trap. It's just such a reflex that you can't counter Archive Trap because it happens on turn 1, and then it just like happened on turn 3, and oops. Okay, we did shadow, which put me to 9 cards in deck. I draw up to 8 cards in deck here. Mega frustrating that they just happen to hit all my black sources because the whole combo's here. Shadow of Doubt also counters the second half of Surgical Extraction. They can take stuff out of my graveyard, but they're not allowed to go in my deck. That's funny. Trickbind, okay. That can stuff a crab trigger. It actually stuffs the crab for the whole turn, which... Oh no, those are it's activated abilities. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, activated abilities of the permanent... Okay, yeah, crab is a trigger, not an activated ability, so we don't get to blank crab forever. I'm not going to cast Preordain. I don't think there's anything in my deck that helps me more than my hand does, and this might actually come down to 1 card in my deck. Second crab. Okay. They didn't have that before. Right, deal 1 to you there. Spell Pierce. Unfortunately, this game isn't really about spells right now. Attack with all my creatures. They'll probably just block the orcs. I should have preordained before combat here. There is still 1 Orcish Bowmaster in my deck, and I can see just shy of half my deck here. Okay, I think I just passed, though. Now it's too late to capitalize on that, and I have to hope that they just don't find a land for like 2 more turns. Visions of Beyond. I'm going to Spell Pierce that. That's not getting any better. Okay. We're clinging to life here. Shadow of Doubt. Let me just do a check. If I can look at half my deck for a Bowmaster here. 1, 2, 3. Making sure I registered 4. I did. I have 1 Snapcaster Mage in Exile. Okay. Bowmaster. I don't think going down 1 card here is going to change the game anymore, but finding Bowmaster might. Because their life total is low enough that they have to block at least 1 thing. And if I could kill a crab with a Bowmaster, it just gets really a lot better for me. Harmless Offering, Otawara, bottom, and Steam Vents. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Attacking with my creatures. Yeah, this is exactly the block I wanted them to make. If I had Orc, I ping this, that grows the army, their whole crab army is gone. Steam Vents tapped, and hope they continue to brick. Draw another Visions of Beyond, that would be fine. Not a land, not a land, not a land. Wow, okay. I messed that up very early and was not punished for it. Easy game. I want Flusterstorms in. Dothy Voidwalker is just more damage if I need to make this opponent dead. Am I going to combo this opponent, or am I just going to apply pressure and disrupt their milling? I think I'm going to cut 2 Trickbinds, 2 Preordains, and an Offering for Flusters and Voidwalkers. Their fetch lands are a big part of their game, and them not having more than 2 mana is why I won that game. Is Shadow worse than Trickbind? It probably is, actually. Because Trickbind works with my engine, Shadow only works to slow down theirs. And if I'm cutting a Harmless Offering, I want to make sure I don't lose to my own Demonic Pact. Okay, I'm going to try this. I'm not real happy about this matchup, but that is the point of Mill, to just farm these fair blue decks. Got a mulligan this, it just doesn't do anything. This hand is great. I'm in. And I'm going to bottom the Scalding Tarn to try to brick Archive Trap as long as I can. A card that I'm now aware I can interact with if it's not turn 0. Luda Delta. Watery Grave. Ruin Crab. Okay. I'm going to play Island untapped. I can Spell Pierce this turn if I need to. Next turn, I can Thoughtseize plus Fatal Push. By bottoming the fetch land, I'm not able to Fatal Push right now, but it does play around Archive Trap, which is one of their best cards. I don't know. Maybe I'm just supposed to let them hit me with a trap and keep my options open. We'll see how it shakes out. Field of Ruin. Okay. That's not 2 lands this turn. Spell Pierce Demonic Pact in the graveyard. Extirpate. Alright, well, can't Spell Pierce that. Okay, Demonic Pact no longer a win con. But I don't even mind, because Extirpate is not a good card that doesn't impact the board and doesn't mill me. I mean, I guess it technically mills me for 3, because it took 3 copies of a card out of my deck. But as we saw last game, I can win without that. And I boarded out a Harmless Offering as a hedge against this sort of thing. So there's 2 dead cards instead of 3 in my deck, but my hand's pretty good. Of course, I immediately drew a Harmless Offering. I hope it lives up to its name and doesn't cause me too much harm here. Thoughtseize first. In case they have a counterspell, I want to see it and then make sure my Fatal Push resolves. Oh, look at this. 2 Archive Traps in the hand, no other plan. Bottoming that. Fetch land proving to be quite powerful, as long as they don't draw a land right now. Then I might be in trouble. If I can hold up Spell Pierce in the future. Yeah, them having a Field of Ruin's actually a nightmare, because they can force a shuffle at any point, or when they have 3 mana they can. But that's still just a mill for 26 and they're Hellbent, which is not a bad spot for me to be. Okay, Moment of Truth. They appear to be just passing without a play. Heck yeah. We're in business, team. Okay, I'm going to play my Steam Vents. I'm going to shock it in because my life total does not matter in this matchup. And I would like to Bowmaster and Spell Pierce this turn, if I have to. Okay, they look like they're just passing again. Time to bring the beats. Big Bow Daddy. You're dead in 8 turns. What are you going to do about it? Sick. Another non-fetch land. I'm trying to think of any reason this Harmless Offering would be good. Like, if there is any useful or funny way to use it without any packs in my deck, and I actually just think there's not. Like, why would I give them anything? Blood Crypt tapped. I functionally have 2 blanks in my hand right now, and then Spell Pierce is a maybe. Might hit something, might not. Visions of Beyond. Okay, that triggers Bowmaster. I'm not going to Spell Pierce it. I'll save that for my Archive Trap. This turns it from an 8-turn clock to a 5-turn clock. Deal. They did hit their land, though. Watch out. Fireworks start next turn. Not anymore! I get to Tidebind the Field of Ruin, add to my clock, protect it with Spell Pierce. Now I feel like I'm way ahead, actually. They're going for it, and I'll show them the no way, Jose. Drew that one just in time. Counter that, please. And now I've doubled my clock and stranded those 2 traps in their hand. Okay, they are now dead on board. I have a Spell Pierce and 42 cards in my deck. They are just passing the turn, it seems. They know about the Spell Pierce. They saw it with Extirpate on turn 2 or whatever that was. Okay, they did find a land. That doesn't search my deck, though. They would need some sort of uncounterable by Spell Pierce sweeper here to be alive, because they just went to 3, and I have a 3-power creature and 3 total power among my other 2 creatures. A removal spell doesn't work here. Mission briefing, what the hell? Surveil 2, choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. Is there a card that I care about? I guess I could just Spell Pierce this and assume the game is over. Unless I just got masterfully baited and they have a real important spell in their hand. Nope. Okay. Game 1, I got pretty lucky. Game 2, that really did in large part come down to bottoming the fetch land off my mulligan and being able to develop 5 mana throughout the game without using a single fetch, while they had at least 2 Archive Traps in their hand. And even being milled for 26, that doesn't change. Or no, I can't even say that. I was going to say it didn't change anything, but they drew a Visions of Beyond at some point. They drew 1 card instead of 3, so this actually changed a lot. Feeling good about that one. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 2. I have my whole combo in my hand, but no interaction. I am going to keep it. Let's party. And the thing about Demonic Pact is that it is interaction. It's just pretty slow for the modern format. But once you stick this thing, kill a creature, gain a bunch of life, opponent discards 2, you draw 2. Like, this does a lot of stuff once you're actually doing anything. Found a Bowmaster, and now I have a turn 2 play. See what my opponent's up to over there. Untap Stomping Ground in the end step. Cycling Lorien revealed. Okay. I smell rhinos. That's what I think is happening here. Shocked in the breeding pool. I think they're going to ice my island. Yes, indeed, that is what's happening. Trickbind. I hope they try to go off on my turn, because I can Trickbind the Cascade trigger. If they have Violent Outburst, that's better for me than Charlie's Agent here. Oh yeah, Ketria Triome, get in. Okay. I'm going to get my Xander's Lounge, just make sure I'm set up here. And I have the first can of rhinos covered right now with the Trickbind. I do have to watch out for their Tishana's Tidebinders, though. I kind of just want to fetch a Watery Grave right now before they have a Stifle available. Okay, your turn. If they don't send it now, I can Bowmaster and Trickbind next turn. Just add to the board and mess with their rhinos. I'm going to zap in Steam Vents here and just have my shields up. I can add to the board and I can Trickbind, and I can snap Trickbind in the future, which is less reliable because although Trickbind has split second, Snapcaster doesn't. Flame of Anor. Target player draws 2 cards. Perfect. Great spot to sneak in this Bowmaster that I kind of wanted to do anyway. Deal a bunch of damage, have a huge creature. They could dead the Bowmaster, I suppose. All right, fine. We still force some interaction on them. Happy with that. 6 cards in their hand now. And they're still just passing. Tidebinder and Trickbind. Okay. I'm going to shock in Watery Grave so I could double spell here. In with an Orc. And they didn't try to make Rhinos to block. That's good news. Okay, I could try to Tidebind this, which would give them access to just hardcast Subtlety, which is pretty strong. I don't think I want to fight over their lands when their deck is built on triggered ability. They now have 6 mana. Are they going to try to send it twice in a turn? It's powerful stuff. I'll just draw. Another Trickbind. Okay, feeling good. Attack with Orc Army. Again, they didn't block. Again, I'll just pass the turn. And again, they didn't do anything. This is a weird Rhinos game. I have to imagine their hand is full of interactive spells, where the split second on Trickbind is actually huge. What I'm most worried about is them just casting a Subtlety and having a 3/3 on the board, as Tidebinder does mostly the same thing. I have to clean up here. I'm going to discard a Demonic Pact. I just don't see a window where I'm going to cast that, and I have 2 of them if I do need one. Blade Boseiju is a land. I might just end step a Snapcaster here and just add to the board however I can. I don't like it, but I'm over here going to discard and stuff. And they got 7 in their hand. They're building up to whatever they're building up to. Snapcaster resolved. And I can't cast the Preordain because it's a sorcery. And I will go to my turn. Attack with my creatures. Yep, looks like it's finally time to invest in this Subtlety. There it is. Counters nothing. Is the biggest creature on the board, though. I am going to Preordain here. Try to hit some land drops. There's a land, I like that. Bottom the land, or top the land, bottom the Pact. And pass the turn. They're in a good position to beat me without ever playing a Cascade spell. Old fake Rhinos. They're not even a Rhinos deck. They're just pretending to be. That's their juke. Guess now I probably have to just jump in a Tidebinder and try to flip the race, make them do something that ends up being a mistake. Okay, it looks like they have another Subtlety. I can Trickbind the Subtlety trigger, and then I still have my thing. They could make Rhinos right now. That gives me an open window to shove my Pact, but I still lose to Force of Negation. And I wish they had just sent Rhinos on turn 3 like they were supposed to. This game is so much worse for me. Yep, and then they have, well, it might be just a removal spell. Okay, that's better than a can of Rhinos. Still not good. Preordain. I think I have to start with that. I'm just, like, not going to beat a Force of Negation here. But if I find Spell Pierce, that doesn't beat Force of Negation either. Okay, I will just send it on my Pact and hope this resolves. Though I have low faith that it will. Yep, Force Pitching Fire Ice. They got me. And I could Preordain, try to hit a land drop, or I could just, I think I have to. Like, my hand is just, this Trickbind doesn't beat my opponent is the problem. Bottom Shadow, top Delta. I think I should just fetch basic land right now. Again, playing around potential Tidebinders. And I am now dead on board. Gotta do something big real quick here. Murktide Regent. Okay. Yep, they're going to beat me without casting a single Cascade spell. This was a cool game. That was a slick game plan discovered by the opponent. All right, cool. Correctly identified that trying to Cascade was not the play. What do I do about this? Flusterstorm's good in the matchup. Chalice of the Void, Engineered Explosives are all for this matchup. I can decide if I want to do Voidwalker stuff and just bring the beats. I think Shadow of Doubt is actually mid, but Trickbind is great. I think I want to get lighter on Pact and Harmless Offering. Do I want Fatal Push in my deck? Yeah, Tishana's Tidebinder is enough for that, all on its own. I don't have to bring in the Voidwalkers. They're just, if my opponent is slick enough to find these game plans that don't involve Rhinos, I want to pressure their life total for it. Cut up Preordain and a Bowmaster. What I do like about this deck is that it has enough meme shit that I could cut a lot of it and still be doing meme shit. Alright, I'll keep this hand. Doesn't have a threat. It has a lot of interaction, though. There is no basic swamp in my deck, no real plan to beat a resolved Blood Moon. Just gonna respect that as much as I can with my spells. Flame, Lorien, Tidebinder. Tidebinder is the one that goes here. Opponent once again setting up a Rhino-free game plan. Who needs them? They got their foothills, fetching something. They might be playing around Trickbind by just cycling Lorien now. Or not. I hope I draw Trickbind. Though they don't actually need that land, so that's not even that important. Spell Pierce, another thing to fight Rhino spells, but like we saw last game, I do need to apply pressure at some point, and they didn't cycle the Lorien. Breeding Pool tapped. I'm going to grab a Xander's Lounge. They're going to cycle Lorien revealed. Yeah, they could do that anytime. That had nothing to do with fetching in their main phase. Blood Crypt does not cast any spells. That island doesn't. Okay, well, they have one this time, which makes me wonder if they literally just didn't draw a Rhino spell last game and they got super unlucky and ended up winning as a result. Now I have a choice to make how I want to interact with this. Flusterstorm doesn't counter Blood Moon. It does beat a counter war later. Yeah, I guess I'll Spell Pierce now. Annoyingly, I might have to drown in the lock this Shardless Agent just to not start taking damage from that. Yeah, I'll just kill that. I don't currently have a plan to beat it. Tidebinder, okay. I do like this card. And I believe... Alright, so if artifact, creature, or planeswalker, okay. That's too bad. I was hoping to stifle a Mutavault activation, and then it could never be a Mutavault again. But that's not how it works. They thought about that. There's the island. Okay, cool. The walls are up, but once again, we saw this last game. I was like, haha, I can do multiple pieces of interaction. And my opponent was like, haha, I don't care. Flame of Anor. Target player draws 2 cards. They didn't want to risk their Mutavault on that. This is fine. I'm not going to fight over this. Oh, that wasn't even... Was that even the Flame of Anor? I saw it for like a second before I clicked on it. But were there 2 different arts revealed? Whoops, if true. Yeah, now we're just in a control mirror where they are hitting land drops and I'm not. This does not favor me. They suspended a Footfalls. That's happening now. Okay, cool. Good draw. Now I can do stuff. And if they send an end-step Flame again, I'm not going to stifle this fetch land. Draw 2 cards. Do it. Do it. Heck yeah. Orcish Bowmaster. Let's get in here. They would have to pitch Subtlety to answer it at this point. There's no free kill spells. But now I have a big threat. And they're going to have to start doing stuff. Land number 6. Land drops are busted in Magic the Gathering. They're fetching, and it looks like passing. If we get to a spot where all my mana's untapped, I'll feel a lot better. Okay, cool. They're firing my Bowmaster. I think that's okay. I have a 3/3 in play. That's enough to pressure their life total meaningfully. Found a land. Now I can triple spell. Getting in there, causing trouble. Okay, so they're going to try to Flame of Anor here. The one with the different art that I did actually remember correctly. And I'm going to Flusterstorm it. Or maybe I just counterspell. Because Flusterstorm's more reliable on other stuff. Yeah, this is a matter of deciding how I want to interact with this. I can also kill Mutavault with Drown in the Lock, but I don't think that card matters. Yeah, I'm just going to counterspell. Or I'm going to fetch and use a basic to counterspell and leave up the best mana I can leave up. Okay, opponent's at 9. 3 cards left in their hand. Footfalls. 2 turns away. You can stifle the cast the card trigger of a suspended card. Flusterstorm getting worse here. Maybe I should have accounted for their 1,000 lands in play. Last turn on us deciding what counterspell to play. Another land. Just going to keep bashing here. Animating Mutavault. We're doing this again. Oh, they're just blocking. Interesting. I wonder if they have a Dead Gone to try to finish this off. Wow, no, that was literally just a jump block. They're just trying to make time for these rhinos to show up and be bigger. I like that. That feels desperate to me. A Seiju. Okay, I'm going to crack my Polluted Delta, even though they might have Tidebinder. They did not appear to have Tidebinder. Glad that's out of the way. Something's happening. It's icing my army, okay. Snapcaster. Okay, my plan is to stifle the cast this trigger next turn, and then we'll see how my opponent chooses to fight over it. The problem is that this is not actually Trickbind. It's Tishana's Tidebinder, which can be subtletied, which is a card they haven't had a good target for yet. They're binding mine. Oh, that doesn't work. They needed to wait for my trigger to be on the stack. You can't stifle the spell itself. This is a timing error that I am going to take advantage of. This is just one of those spots where knowing the rules of Magic helps a lot. And that Footfalls is answered. I got a bunch of threats in play, but they're in some danger at this point. I'm going to go to my turn, get all my mana, and see what happens. Trickbind is here. If I drown in the lock this Tidebinder, I have them on a 2-turn clock, or I could just attack, trade, have them on a 3-turn clock with only 1 threat, but I have more interaction up. I think that's better. And if they try to like cascade into rhinos before blocks, then I have all sorts of information to operate on. Yeah, they're just taking the trade. They're a 5. 3 cards in their hand. I don't want to give them a good target for subtlety. I'm not going to play the Snapcaster. I'm going to stay chilling. Looks like an ice. That's fine. Patience. Or Grixis control. Okay, gotta count this out. Drown in the lock. Flusterstorm. Snap. Flusterstorm. I have exactly enough mana to quadruple spell here, which means I'm not going to preordain. Because if I miss on the land, then I can't do everything I might need to do. I found a Mutavault. There's only 1 Snapcaster in the deck, so I didn't like do a ton of building around it. But I do kind of wish these preordains were considers. Like multiple times now it's come up that it would be better if I could do something at instant speed with Snapcaster. Just trick binding this Cascade trigger, get it out. You cannot respond, put it in the graveyard. Are they going to jump block with Mutavault again? Looks like it. There's also Endurances in their deck that I have to think about. Got a handful of interaction though. And now I can't triple spell anyway, so I'm going to cast my Preordain. Flusterstorm, Watery Grave. I actually think Flusterstorm is not that good anymore. And I'm going to play Watery Grave tapped. And Flusterstorm is better in multiples, but I'm more worried about their creatures than their spells right now. Ottawar, yep, that works. They found stabilization at 5 life. Luckily, I've been playing the Grixis control game this whole time. I'm not just hellbent and wondering what's going on. Preordain. Yo! Okay. Top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I'm firing it. Let's go. I could protect it with some counter magic. I don't die to 1 hit from rhinos. If they force here, then they don't have rhinos anyway. I believe I'm supposed to Flusterstorm right now, so I'm not sure this is getting any better. And I can make them discard their last card, play from Hellbent. Oh no, that's at my upkeep. I don't get one on ETB. Well, glad that came up. I think I tried to cast this just like Soul Spike last game, and it got countered, but that wasn't going to work. Gotta wait a whole turn for this? Whack. Okay, they have snuck a pile of rhinos in under my defenses. I can kill one of them with the deal 4, and then drown and lock the other. 4 to any target. How about this rhino? Kind of a tilt because they're at 5. Drown in the lock. The Tidebinder. Draw for turn. I can snap drown this right now. I think I should. Snapcaster. Target drown. Drown your rhino. And now, inevitability. I'd be worried about Lorien revealed as a draw from them. Yeah, packed it up. Packed it up, get it? I think I want all my Bowmasters in, having now seen that play out, and they have so much interaction that I think trying to shove the combo is a mistake, and just getting low so we still have this inevitability, but also being able to challenge the board early seems important to me. I'm going to do it like this. We did just manage to play a 1,000-turn game without looking at a Chalice of the Void, and now we found one. Ketria Triome from the enemy. I can get Xander's Lounge in now. Yeah, that seems fine. And if I play Chalice now, it gives them more time to plan for like Besageoing it. But if I play it later, it gives them more chances to have a Force of Negation for it. I guess next turn I could have protected it with Counterspell, and maybe that's good enough. Okay. I have access to Basic Island, and I have Otawara. Even if they Blood Moon me, I have that covered. I'm going to fetch now where they can't Force of Negate, or can't Force of Vigor, and can't Stifle. Tidebinder. Okay, I was going to Preordain, but now I have 2 things I can do. You can Tidebinder a Boseiju activation. Messed up. I'm not afraid of a draw-go game, that's for sure. Preordain. Mystical Dispute, that's fine. I could have played my land around that, but I also wasn't sure that I wanted to shock anything in if I wasn't going to need that mana. I'm just going to counter this Tidebinder. I'm not really ready to fight it in any other capacity, and they can't cast the spell that I'm actually worried about them casting because of the Chalice. And if they want to force this, get 2 cards out of their hand to have a 3-2 on the board, I'm okay with that. I am tapped out, though. If they slam Blood Moon here, that's kind of annoying. I can Otawara it and then try to figure it out later. But it looks like they just had no play in past. Tap Steam Vents go. The Engineered Explosives and the Chalice are kind of a funny... I don't really want to call it a non-bow, but a kind of a weird collection of things. Because you can't Chalice for 0, or you can't Engineered Explosives for 0 when you have Chalice for 0, but you also shouldn't need to, because how are they getting Rhinos into play if you have Chalice for 0? Also Chalice for 3, it looks like it's going to play just fine on this board. Okay, they fired my creature, got it out of there. I'm just trying to have moderately profitable, or at least even exchanges right now, until I can draw something that pulls me ahead as the control deck. Red, blue, black, Engineered Explosives for 3. Polluted Delta fetch right now while they can't Stifle it. Water Grave tapped, and I'm going to blow the explosives now again while they can't Stifle it. Okay. I don't like my hand, but I do have good draws in my deck that can switch this around. And I have a powerful hate piece in play at the moment. But this is the kind of spot that we left Pact in the deck for. Alright, just shoving Endurance. Probably target yourself to turn off Drown in the Lock. Nope, targeted me. Worried about my 1 of Snapcaster Mage. That's fine. Trickbind. Disappointing. Okay. Just got to do something to get ahead of an Endurance. I got 5 turns to figure this out. And Otawara if there's an emergency. Drown in the Lock. Cool. That kills Endurance. I'm just going to... Do I want to just do it? I don't really want my life total to diminish too far. Yeah, I'll just do it. It's fine. And if they have a second Endurance to remove their own graveyard, I could Stifle the Endurance trigger. Force of Negation's fine. Okay, do I Otawara yet? I think I do. Just start soaking up damage. They didn't play a land yet. They can't Stifle this right now. Shocked in Steam Vents in response. What is this? Okay, cool. Do they have Mystical Dispute? Did they brain fart and think that was a blue spell for a second? Just trying to figure out what Shocking Steam Vents there does. Are we just icing a land? Oh, sure. Alright, that's fine. Come on, Pact. Flusterstorm. Neither of these answer Endurance, unfortunately. And they are waiting on the Endurance. Come on, draw a Counterspell. Okay, they're playing Endurance in my upkeep. Don't draw a Counterspell now. No longer helpful. Draw a Pact or a removal spell. They did target themselves this time. The machines are learning. Bowmaster, okay. I mean, that does stuff. I'm just going to play Bowmaster now. I can counter a Fire Ice, so I'm not worried about that. I don't want them to be able to just spend 4 and get a good subtlety hit. Orc Army's going directly under the bus here. And they're passing. Spell Pierce, come on, deck. The shields are up. We gotta win, though. Flame of Anor destroying my Chalice of the Void. That's fine, actually, because my hand is so good against Rhinos that I don't want to spend a counterspell on Shatter. Like, Trickbind is just such a house here. Not ready to chump my Bowmaster yet. They might be sitting on a Lorien Revealed or another Flame of Anor or something. Violent Outburst, Trickbind. No thank you. Thoughtseize. Okay. I don't like reducing my life total in this spot, but I would like to know what they're up to. Another Flame, 2 Tidebinders. Well, we're fucked, is what they're saying here. Their hand is just all gas. This is so bad. I think I want to take a flame. I just don't want them to have a removal spell. And am I ready to block? Or they could just cast Tidebinder here. Yikes. I'm in trouble, team. Even if I find the Pact, they could Tidebinder it twice, and I just don't get any triggers off it. Their hand does not answer a Drown in the Lock, though. Fetch Shock. Shardless Agent. Cascades into Footfalls. 2 spells. Guess I'll start with the Fluster. This ends up being the same. Oh, wow. Yeah, or if they could just simply forget to pay. That was the out I was playing to. And maybe they didn't forget. Maybe they realized they have me dead on board if they play their creature. Come on, deck. All right. Wow, okay. I mean, this was super cool. My deck, like, structurally with all the Stifles is really good against the Rhino plan, and my opponent just did not employ the Rhino plan in the 2 games that they won. And I don't know if that was just the current construction and resiliency of this deck, or if they ran good by accident, or if they're a genius, or I don't know. But it was very cool that I could stop any number of Rhinos, and they were just like, that's fine. Tishana's Tidebinder, Endurance, Flame of Andor, you're dead. Good stuff. On to the next round.
The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop.
I'm on the play in round 3. On the play is always the better place to be. With a Stifle deck, I'm going to keep. And I hope that they are a fetch land deck, and that they need a fetch land on turn 2. Plains, okay. I'm also just fine Shadow of Doubting a Stoneforge Mystic. Like, I'm not going to complain about that. Xander's Lounge in. I'm just going to play my Tarn and pass here. Bowmaster was a good draw. This deck does have some X1s in it. If Giver of Runes enters combat, I can just eat it. Emeria, Shattered Sky. Ornithopter, Stoneforge Mystic. Just like we drew it up. Basic Island, Shadow of Doubt. Ka-chow! That was awesome. Alright, they have a 1-2. Thoughtseize. Okay, I am going to Thoughtseize them. If they were just holding the Cauldra anyway, now we get to clear that out. Colossus Hammer, Pure Steel Paladin, a second Stoneforge, Surge of Salvation. I think Pure Steel Pally is the scariest card in this hand. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Esper Sentinel. GTFO, that card is annoying. They did just play this Colossus Hammer out. I know their whole hand right now. Now I can kill something. If I play Bowmaster, target Esper Sentinel with the ping, and then double block Stoneforge. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wow, they just let that happen. What's going on here? Alright, I'm just going to do everything. Like Giver of Runes isn't in play, because that seems to be what my opponent also thinks. Yeah, I actually just don't get an Orc army if they use Giver to protect the Esper Sentinel, and then I just don't block. But that was kind of free money I wasn't expecting to get. And now the Giver is tapped going into my turn if I find something to do with that information, which I did not. It's all good. Now the Grixis tempo game plan kicks in with my 3/2s that have text on them. And I think stifling this is better than countering it because I want stats on the board. Bang. This game is shaping up to be incredible for reasons of Demonic Pact. Like, if we ever get there, we're in good shape. All right, Thoughtseize you again. I know there's a Surge of Salvation that I won't be able to Thoughtseize any other time. The third Stoneforge Mystic of the game. Okay, I'll take that. Surge of Salvation, I can Spell Pierce. And do I have any good attacks? And I can attack, and they can't really do anything about it, but then they can attack, and I can't really do anything about it. Pure Steel Pally. Non-stop action, but I have held this counterspell this long using other ways to control the Stoneforges. Okay, land number 4 is exciting. Now if I draw a Pact, we're in business. And now I can attack because I have Tidebinder, number 2, to cause trouble. Okay, double block. I guess that was a really good double block. But they did activate my trap card, which turns off Giver forever. Okay, cool. I think if they had just let combat damage resolve there, that would have been a favorable turn for them. Another hammer, 1 card in hand, it's Surge. Time to draw Demonic Pact. Molten Collapse, that card's really messed up. Destroy a creature and a different thing, and I can pierce the Surge right now. If they just double block with Giver and Stoneforge, that's actually a good deal, but then I kill Stoneforge and Hammer, and they're hellbent. Yeah, I'm going to make my attack here. Make sure to order Giver first. So that's the card that I want most out of play. And then Molten Collapse. Destroy Stoneforge Mystic and one of the hammers. Red-black, Spell Pierce the Surge of Salvation. Okay, I mean, I still need to do something here. They are hellbent with 2 mana and no engines. 2 Pure Steel Pallies are already gone too. Come on, deck. Let's draw a Demon Pact. Demon Pact. Demon Pact. Alright, I'll take a Fatal Push. I mean, that's nice insulation in the meantime. That is a reprieve from most of the worst things that could happen here. I think I just want to kill this Esper Sentinel. Even though it is like pretty aggressive to just fire this against a deck that could kill me, but Crystal Paladin's not on if I kill the Esper Sentinel. Oh, cool. They're just conceding to my Grixis beats. I don't even have to show them the demonic state they were in. The explosives cast into the fire. Rest down against the Saga half of their deck. Shadow of Doubt, Trickbind, Tidebinder, all of the Stifle effects are really good in this matchup. Thoughtseize is a little risky. I do like knowing what's going on over there, but they have Surge of Salvation and they can get their hand empty pretty quick. And if they draw a card off my Thoughtseize from Esper Sentinel, that's annoying. I think I want all the packs in, but I can shave some maybe high number of Harmless Offerings because with the 8 Stifles in the deck, I have 9 ways to stop Pact from killing me before it kills me. And Harmless Offering is a stone brick in the meantime. Okay, I actually think Shadow of Doubt is worse than any of the 8 Stifles, and I like my removal spells. Cursed Totem can stop Stoneforge Mystic from activating, but that's not really what this card is for. It's mostly for Yawgmoth. Let's do it. Okay, I'm not quite sure what this hand does yet. If they turn to me, I'm dead. If they have Esper Sentinel on turn 1, I'm in a lot of trouble. So we just keep, right? The Grixis life. Lands and spells. Full house. Preordains full of watery graves. Sigarda's Aid. Okay. That card's scary, but I was actually more afraid of Esper Sentinel. Molten Collapse could be the nuts if I preordain into a fetch land here. I found 2 of them. Alright, that's too many. I'll take 1. And just make sure that I can descend next turn. Springleaf Drum. Shadow Spear. Oh, bummer. I thought this would be more fun than that. Fatal Push. Okay, I can preordain and hold up Fatal Push for the turn cycle. I could hold up Shadow and Trickbind. I think preordain Fatal Push is probably better, safer. Sets me up better going along than hoping that they walk into one of these tricks that I have. I will take Cast into the Fire and shock in Watery Grave. I'm saving the Scalding Tarn until Molten Collapse needs it. Versus Saga. Okay, they're playing the control deck. Dress Down is a good one. I guess I have to play the Tarn now, and I am going to preordain Bowmaster, Trickbind. I don't want any of this. Counterspell. Maybe I'm supposed to board Counterspells out. I have a lot of interaction, and Counterspell can be sketchy against this deck. I don't know what their hand is, though. They're just setting up the world's most super stable turn million win, I guess. Main phasing a construct, and they can tap Springleaf Drum for that. Okay. I kind of get what's going on. If I just Fatal Push this now, will that sniff out a... I'm not going to Fatal Push that now. Never mind. I was about to say, like, do I want to bait out a Surge of Salvation? And I think the answer is no. Okay, this stinks pretty hard. I will, I think, just Dress Down in the end step, or just discard Shadow of Doubt. And missing a land drop here sucks so hard. Alright, I'm going to discard Shadow of Doubt. I think it's better to Dress Down on their turn after they've put mana into doing other stuff. Okay, so there's that. And then I think I'm supposed to let Saga resolve and respond to the Sigarda's aid trigger. Like, let them commit to a hammer here. And then now I kill this thing, because if I wait any longer, it'll be a 10-10, even if I dress it down. I can Spell Pierce something if I need to. Their permanents just went in the graveyard. That's much better than Spell Piercing. Engineered Explosives kills every non-land permanent they control. Still looking for a land. Okay, we got one. I'm just going to Explosives for 1 right now. And I'm just going to delete all their permanents before they can do anything with them. If their 2-card hand can kill me with Inkmoth Nexus, they deserve it through a Fatal Push. But I don't want them being able to use any of these resources, the drum, or things get tricky once they have Sigarda's Aid available. Oh, they're just packing it to the Grixis control deck with 6 cards in hand. Fair enough. I was going to Trickbind the Urza Saga Make a Construct ability, like the Saga trigger that teaches that card how to do that, and then they just get nothing out of this until it tutors 2 turns from now. Sweet. Okay. Classic Grixis versus Hammer business there. On to the next round.
If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event.
On the play in round 4 with a nice little turn 2 Trickbind. I hope my opponent takes the common modern play pattern of fetch land go. Urborg. Uh-oh. They might not have anything to trick or bind in their deck. That's not true. Every deck has something. I guess I could have played this Otawara and it's also a Watery Grave, but then I don't have Otawara if that's the thing I need later. Urza Saga. An Urborg Saga strategy. Dauthi Voidwalker. Okay, well, I will Fatal Push that next turn. I'm going to get Bowmaster into play first, I think. Get the clock started. And then I can Fatal Push this Dauthi Voidwalker and start attacking. And I can still Trickbind. Might bind this Saga this turn. Yeah, I'm going to stifle the ability to make constructs. Just not interested in that happening. Opponent still has 7 cards in their hand. This might be a huge spew, but I have kind of an aggressive hand. I'm going to lean into it. We got a Silly Eyeballs great in the chat. Hope you needed that. And they just let me untap with a fetch land after seeing Stifles in my deck. The Urborg helps with that, because they could just tap it for black. But this might be another blowout on the stack. And I don't mind attacking into a potential Bowmaster, because I have one of my own. Now they can search. I'm not going to stifle the search. Whatever this artifact is, they can have it. I'm not going to fetch in response, both because Urborg gives me black here, and I don't think Pithing Needle advances their game state at all. Oh, it's Rackpox. I'm excited now. Fatal Push, you got me. End step, Bowmaster, the Rebowmastering. Also to China's Tidebinder hilariously turns off the rack forever. Another push. Oh, going after the army this time. Yeah, that's too big. Better get rid of it. I take 1 from the rack, that's fine. I'll make them get my hand low. If they want this to do stuff, I'll just hold cards for a while. Yep, rack deals 0 to me. Oh, now it'll deal some. Alright. Drown in the lock your Bowmaster, and I'll take 1 from the rack. Okay. Tidebinder's back up. Saga. I got a Trickbind for that. Oh, Shieldred. That's way worse. Creature. Okay, I can make Shieldred a blank cardboard by stifling her. Trigger. The rack is now a problem. Just them having a 4/5 creature is too big. Tidebinder. Stifle Shieldred. Still just a huge creature. And I'm going to Trickbind the Urza Saga again. I do feel the squeeze, though. This is getting worse for me every second. Thoughtseize my counterspell. Now the rack is the full lightning bolt every turn. Shieldred is big enough to cause trouble just on stats. They're holding her back on D. I've got a Bowmaster now. Might be helpful someday. I really want a Tidebinder to turn off this rack. And I am going to fetch for a Steam Vents now, just to get red in case they decide Pithing Needle's the thing they want, but I imagine they'll just get more racks here. I need a Demon Pact, just fill up my hand. Yep, second rack. Okay, I'm gonna play the Bowmaster here and try to get this Shieldred off the board. There are no good trades here, and if I go in any deeper than the bare minimum to kill her, like I just get blown out by any removal spell here, which their mono black deck probably plays a few of. But if I go any deeper, I'm never winning the race. I'm just gonna not play around. Oh Jesus! All right, they're also a scam deck. Lesson learned. Okay, cool. The classic Stifle versus Rack box. Engineered Explosives looks good. Voidwalker gets it done. I think the Demon Pact is actually insane here, though. With all their discard, they might actually be really good at keeping me off of having a Stifle or Offering before this kills me. Shadow seems worse than Trickbind here. Fatal Push, Thoughtseize, Offering. Okay. Oh, Cast in the Fire, Exiles Rack, if I care about the Rack specifically. Dress Down's good against Saga. Oh, there's more. There's more to do here. Counterspell can be pretty unreliable versus dedicated discard strategies. Yeah, I might just want to play to the board more than having Counterspell, and even Thoughtseize has the same problem. I'll keep. This hand is soft to a Thoughtseize, but you don't really want to mulligan ever if you can avoid it versus decks like this one. Opponent says they don't think Undying Evil works with Deshana targeting Shieldred, but I think that it does because it's on the same layer. It's gaining and losing abilities, which happens on the same layer. And then it just becomes a timestamp thing. Okay, Steam Vents, Preordain. There's a Trickbind. Do I even want this? No. Send it all. I should have let on Watery Grave, both because using your fetch land before you Preordain is just better practice, and I have double black cards in my deck. Oh, thanks for the herb work. Never mind. Okay. I don't have a Voidwalker anyway. Never mind. Demon Pact, though. You see it coming. I got your name written on it. Where's the Saga? If they've got a Voidwalker of their own, I can answer it cleanly. Do I think they're going to Shadow of Doubt me back? I hope not. That would be the funniest thing. I'm just going to fetch another Steam Vents because it is a Xander's Lounge thanks to their Herborg. Bowmaster resolves. Dress Down. That is a nice one to have. I'm going to push their Bowmaster right now while they're not showing me Undying Evil. Mistress Factory, sick technology. Now I have to decide if I want to Dress Down now. I don't think that I do. Because if I slam Demonic Pact into their Saga, they can bash for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 next turn. Spell Pierce, Dress Down. I think I want to use this turn cycle to make sure that I have stable life total, and then slam the Pact after that. Make a construct. Making a construct. Dressing down. Molten Collapse. That kills the Rack. Okay, just attack for 1. They didn't have another spell to play. I take 0 from the Rack. Okay, Shock and Blood Crypt. Play the Demon Pact. Let's get this show on the road. Holding up Spell Pierce. I have no current plan to survive the Demon Pact, but I get to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards before it kills me. Grief. All right, that's going to take Molten Collapse for sure. Or at least that's what I would take. Yep, concur. Do I want to start pushing, saving damage? I don't think so. And I think I am using draw mode this turn. Draw 2 cards. Going to do that right now. Backup Pact. Is that even good? Probably. Repact. I can gain a lot of life next turn. I'm going to just take the damage. I don't want to Fatal Push Orc Army if I can avoid it, because they might have Bowmaster, which makes it harder for me to dig for my don't lose the game spells. Liliana. Okay, well, they know I can't Spell Pierce that right now. That resolves. Each player discards a card. I will lose the Spell Pierce, I guess. They dumped a Shieldred. 1 card left over there. Okay, I can deal 4 damage to any target twice. How about Liliana and Grief? I take 0 from the Rack. I gain 8. If the card they kept in their hand is a scam spell, if Dress Down beats that, again on layers. Water Grave, okay. Moment of truth. It's getting down and dirty here. I am going to play out the Water Grave. I'm not really worried about damage from the rack here. I'm more worried about my Demon Pact and surviving it. Bowmaster was their last card. It's alright. I have the cover for that. Firing up their factory. They know about Fatal Push. And they're just going in on it. Okay, Bowmaster. Kills your Bowmaster. Lock your Orc army. Fatal Push your Mishra's factory. They currently have no cards in hand, so I don't have to think about what if it's Shieldred or something in their hand. Because it's not. Now I just have to think about finding a... Alright, I would like to draw 2 cards. I would like my opponent to discard 2 cards. I mean, it's right now. I have 3 looks at do I lose here. Draw 2. Uh-oh. Draw a card. Uh-oh. So I have to dress down into a way out of this. I might just friggin' lose to my own card right now. Okay. Moment of truth. Harmless Offering off the top. Demon Pact. Okay. I can still draw 2 into a Stifle over the top of this. And they get to Castle Locthwain for free because they had to turn off my thing. That's fine. Okay. Oh, what a crazy adventure this has become. Okay, I have 2 looks at 8 cards here. And then I have 2 looks at another 8 cards before the next one gets me. Oh, what insane chaos this is. Okay, gotta make sure I stack these correctly. Which one is which? Okay, so I want you on the stack first, which means you resolve last. I want you to draw me 2 cards in the middle, and I want you to make my opponent discard 2 cards now. Okay, moment of truth. 2 looks at 8 cards. 37 cards in my deck. Opponent discards. Draw 2. Show me that Trickbind. Yeah, I did board out 2 answers out of 11. I still had 9. That was a tough beat. What a thrill ride, though. On to the final round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the play in the final round. Positive record on the line. At least I think that's true. I think I'm 2-2 right now. I've lost track. My deck, laughing at me, showing me 2 Harmless Offerings in my opening hand after dying to my own Demon Pact last game. Thanks, deck. Maybe I just structurally misunderstood Pax or Rack and should have maxed out on possible outs to that, because I don't know if they can beat a Harmless Offering ever. Whatever. Bottom these 2 lands. I don't need more of those. Trickbind. Okay. Show me that. Fetch land pass. Oh no. It's burn. Okay. Hard mode activated. Preordain. I don't think holding up Trickbind matters against burn, but doing something like hand trimming into Fatal Push does matter. And I think I just want to push this now. It would have dealt at least 2 damage to me that turn, so shocking in the Water Grave doesn't feel too bad. Snapcaster. I like you. Just getting Boros Charmed in the end step here. Yep. Down to 13. Sunbay Canyon. I can stifle that. Lava Spike. I'm at 10. End step. I'm just going to fetch a Xander's Lounge here. Try to cast some spells this game. Love a Spell Pierce. More Trickbinds. Heck yeah. And Harmless Offering. Rotting in my hand. I could snap Preordain and try to get something going. But I think turning on Searing Blaze while tapping out of Fatal Push and whatever interaction I have is probably dangerous. I mean, just dying without casting a spell is also dangerous. Just for the record. What I want them to do is draw a card off Sunbaked Canyon. They're attacking with Goblin Guide. There's a Demonic Pact on top of my deck. You see that, opponent? Live in fear. Snapcaster. Target Fatal Push. I am going to Fatal Push the Goblin Guide rather than block it, because Snapcaster does something on the board where if they just don't play another creature, Fatal Push doesn't do anything. And I mean, like, they know I'm dead here. to any spell. They know I'm drawing a 4-drop I can't play. And that's Magic. Sometimes you draw 3 Demonic Pacts in a game where you can't do anything with them, and sometimes you can't cast it in the turn where you could do 4 things with it. Searing Blaze after a land drop, of course. Yep. Okay. I'm dead. Last 2 cards in hand, land Searing Blaze. They figured it out. They found the line. Flusterstorm, I like. I'm keeping the full Demonic Pact. Harmless Offering in here, every part of it. Shadow of Doubt actually doesn't affect this deck at all. Chalice on 1 is not bad. It's also not good. I might need it. It might be necessary, even though I'm not happy about it. There's also a matchup where Trickbind just does very little against them. Shadow of Doubt at least cantrips. And Trickbind can hit a Rift Bolt or something. I think I want Thoughtseize to be Engineered Explosives, just play to the board a little more. Okay, let's try it. Now we know they're burned, we can mulligan more smartly. Or just keep a great hand from the jump. That's fine too. Just playing Watergrave tapped. Earlier I talked about how Chalice on 0 turns off Engineered Explosives for 0. But with the Sunken Ruins in the deck, that's not even necessarily 100% true. Because you can pay a colorless into Engineered Explosives and it costs 1, but Sunburst is 0. So we did play around it. Totally on purpose. Okay, I'm going to play Watergrave tap to save my life total here. And the choice between lay out the Engineered Explosives on 1 or hold up Spell Pierce is actually a decision to make. But I'm going to hold back the Spell Pierce. Because if they want to push damage with Swift Spear, then they're walking into Spell Pierce. If they just play out a bunch of creatures, they're walking into Explosives. Sanctifier, Envec. Do I care about that? And not really. I guess they saw Snapcaster Mage and Black Mana. Cool. How do I want to handle all this? I think I just want to Fatal Push the Swift Spear. Hold up Drown in the Lock. Oh, it's only for 1. That's right. Sanctifier stops that card from going in the graveyard. That's slightly worse than I wanted it to be. This creature is difficult to kill, but I do have Engineered Explosives in my hand. I hope they play another one. Roiling Vortex. I mean, this dies to the Engineered Explosives that I'm already planning on playing. I have the Spell Pierce, I just don't think it's correct to use it. All right, blue, black, Explosives for 2. And I'm going to hold up the Spell Pierce rather than cast the Preordain. Even though I'm really trying to get to 4 mana here, I would like to Demon Pack some folks. Play another 2-drop. Get them in there. I'm going to Spell Pierce literally anything here. I got plenty of ways to spend my mana. Just want to make sure I have enough life points to do it. They tap to red, then untap to red. That might be they were going to suspend a Rift Bolt, then thought better of it. This Preordain is just chilling. I gotta find my next land. I'm gonna Preordain. Bottom. Come on, land. Oh no. Technically a land, I guess. And they are lightning bolting me in the end step. Annoying, but works. I'm gonna let them take 1 from their Roiling Vortex. And they could just triple spell and kill me here. Explosives, let's go. They could have Boros Charmed there to give their Sanctifier indestructible. They have another Vortex and Shocked in a land. I can stifle a Vortex activation. I'd love a land here. Yes, okay. I think I play the Demon Pact. Just get it in there. Start causing trouble. Your opponents can't gain life this turn. Okay, you got me. This doesn't trigger right away anyway. I was not planning to gain life this turn. The opponent goes to 12. I think I make them discard 2 cards first. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Trickbind actually beats the Roiling Vortex in a way that is important. If I find one of those. Discarded Helix and Skullcrack. Cool. Tidebinder number 2. Okay. I can also deal 4 even if I don't gain the 4 life. And this pair of 3-power creatures might just kill them. So attack you for 3. Hold up interaction. Yeah, deal 4 to anything, you gain 4 life. I don't care if I don't gain life if they're dead. Exquisite Firecraft cannot be countered. Okay, well, that hurts. However, I play a Tidebinder now, and I can stifle this ability. They only have 1 mana left. If that card in hand is Lightning Bolt, I fluster it, and then I think if I 4 them and gain the 4 life, they can't actually win. And can't win is always an aggressive way to say anything in Magic, but deal 4 to any target, you gain 4 life. Straight to the dome here. I take 1. Opponents can't gain life, except that, yes, I can. Drain you for 4. I go to 6. I am going to play out this land. Otawara could have bounced my thing, but one of us will be dead before this Pact pops. I get to draw 2 cards next turn. I still have draw 2 cards in the bank. I'm holding 2 counter spells. Kill you with your own Roiling Vortex. Works for me. There are 3. Dead 2. All of my permanents. They can't cast 2 Firecrafts here. Don't have enough mana. Yeah, just tempoing out burn, beating their Roiling Vortexes. Okay, my Engineered Explosives are in, and they do appear to be on the pro-red, pro-black creature. Dress Down's also an answer to that, but not in a way that I'm interested in. Dauthi Voidwalker could improve my ability to race, but it would ruin my ability to Grixis. And I think I just want to try to be a Demon Pact deck and Grixis them. Let's go. Fatal Push, one of the better cards I could ask for in an opening hand. Kind of wish I had a basic Swamp in my deck. Did not construct it in that fashion. Whoops. Gonna take some amount of damage from this thing. Revealed Trickbind. Oh no, now they know. My secrets. My secret technology revealed. And they even had a fetch land, but they could see the Trickbind. It didn't get them. Yikes. Many creatures coming. Another Trickbind. Alright, well, I'm gonna Fetch Shock. And I think Swift Spear will deal more damage than Goblin Guide over the course of the game. Certainly has the higher potential for damage than Goblin Guide does. And Goblin Guide can help me select for my draws with all these fetch lands I have. Reveal a card. Let me know if it's good or not. Wow, suspended a Riftbolt straight into my Trickbind. It's like they didn't even know. I'm going to fetch a basic here and use Trickbind to counter that. I mean, I'm not like happy with my spot here, but I am happy I got an exchange on a spot where I was not going to get an exchange a moment ago. Ka-chow. I can stay in exile forever. And it was very generous of my deck to give me a land that doesn't hurt me when it comes into play. It would be great if they suspend another Riftbolt. Let me Tidebinder it next turn and have a blocker. Boros Charm. Just add 6. Fair enough. Demon Pact on top of the deck. Okay. Okay. How am I going to get that into play? Yeah, no basic Swamp once again. Causing a lot of trouble here. I think I have to play this Otawara. And I have to block Goblin Guide this turn. I can't go to 4 against this deck that's shown me that they play Exquisite Firecraft. Shit. Unlikely to be able to win this game. Counterspell on top of my deck. Unhelpful. Tidebinder. Please don't have Searing Blaze. Oh yeah, just have every card. It's fine. Miss your land drop for 2 turns. Find it on the turn where I have a creature. Yep. Perfect. Alright, yep, dead. Yeah, on the draw against burn. No basic Swamp. Okay, so changes I would make to this deck. Right away, put a basic Swamp in here somewhere. We probably don't need all 8 fetch lands or all 4 Water to Graves. Just make one of these a Swamp. Or red is a splash color. And then that makes Bloodstain Mire better than Scalding Tarn also. Or Tarn gets the basic island. Maybe we mix this up a little bit. I think one way we could improve this deck a lot is... I mean, I only included Trickbind and Shadow of Doubt because that was the challenge that was given to me. I think that if you want to be this like sinkhole stifle deck, maybe the list that I talked about the first time, the one that has just a ton of 1-drops and then you put your opponent under pressure and mess with their lands after that. Try to play Legacy Delver. Maybe that's a better way to go if you're dead set on playing all 8 of these. However, if you want to be the Demon Pact deck, Shadow of Doubt gets a lot worse, and there might be a reasonable Demonic Pact Stifle deck here if we're willing to give up on Shadow of Doubt in favor of just some other normal Magic cards. I'm disappointed we never got to donate. I did shave on this package pretty often. Maybe 2 is the correct number in the deck to begin with. If we cut the Shadow of Doubts and one of the Harmless Offering, that's 5 slots that open up for just good Grixis cards in the format. Maybe that makes room for the Kroxa that I mentioned, and then sometimes you get to stifle in a Kroxa on turn 4. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I would lean into the Stifle side of the deck over the Shadow side if I was going to keep developing the Demonic Pact version. And I would lower my curve significantly if I'm just excited to play Shadow of Doubt and Trickbind for personal reasons, which is fine. You can build your Magic deck to do whatever you want. As far as successes of this league, we both won and lost thanks to Demonic Pact. Check both of those boxes. We Trickbind a lot of cool stuff. We Shadow of Doubted multiple relevant things. Tidebinder continues to be insane. Not that that one needs any additional endorsement from me. This card has proven itself in most of the formats that it's legal. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this one. Rage, thank you for the challenge. I hope this deck was fun to watch. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.